this demo, we'll go over how you can connect PuppyGraph directly to your Microsoft OneLake tables. You can either do this with your existing tables, or follow the Microsoft docs to create new ones to try this integration out. We'll be using the OneLake table API for Iceberg to get started. OneLake stores the data in the Delta Lake open table format, but also offers the option for Delta Lake to Apache Iceberg table format virtualization, allowing you to query your Delta Lakes as Iceberg tables. Today, we have a small self-contained dataset that models individuals working on software projects with edges modeling relationships like who knows who and which person created what project. As you can see from the console, we've already populated our tables with some dummy data. Over here, you can also see the metadata that allows for performant data analytics on your OneLake tables. We'll be using Docker to set up a PuppyGraph instance, following the steps that are outlined in our documentation. With a single Docker run command, you'll be able to get started with PuppyGraph and get to querying your data as a graph in a matter of minutes. Our PuppyGraph instance is already up and running on localhost 8081. After logging in, you'll be redirected to the schema page. You can either upload a schema.json file or use the PuppyGraph UI tool to create it for you. I'll go ahead and click Create Graph Schema. Since we're using the OneLake table API for Iceberg, we can select the catalog type as Apache Iceberg, and we'll name our catalog Test. Our metastore type is Iceberg REST, and we can fill out the necessary credentials like the endpoint URL, the warehouse that is a combination of your Fabric Workspace ID and Lakehouse ID, and your OAuth 2 credentials like client ID and client secret. We'll be using the default scope and providing the REST OAuth 2 server URI. Since OneLake is built on the Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, the authentication credentials are the same for both the warehouse and the underlying data storage. We can now go ahead and click Save and Submit. Now that we're connected, PuppyGraph will pull in the table schemas from OneLake so that we can start creating our graph model. I'll start with the person node and select which table attributes I want as node properties. We can then go ahead to create the software nodes, selecting from the software table, and edges like which person created what software, set the to and from IDs, and do the same for which person knows which person. We can go ahead and click Submit once everything looks good. Here's a visualization of the graph schema, and if we scroll down, we can see the JSON representation where we map the nodes and edges to the underlying OneLake tables. Clicking on the dashboard page, we can see queries saved for easy access. You get a quick view of how many nodes and edges are in your dataset, and the dashboard is fully customizable so you can keep track of key metrics that your team can reference. You can display them as tables, text, and even graph visualizations according to your needs. If you have a particular query in mind that you'd like to run, the query page lets you run your Cypher or Gremlin queries on the left, and any associated path visualizations will be returned on the right. I'll run a few quick Cypher and Gremlin queries to see the details of a particular person node in our data, like their name and their age, and another to see what projects were created by people whom Margot knows. A simple multi-hop query. The visualization tool is interactive, so you can click around and explore your data. For more information on how you can get started with Microsoft OneLake and PuppyGraph, visit www.puppygraph.com.